All right, let's get right into it. Have you ever felt like you're basically living two different lives? I mean, in one life, the one that's playing out in your head, you are an absolute powerhouse. You're crushing your goals, building that dream life, just living up to all of your potential. But then there's the other life, the real one, where you just feel completely stuck. You got the ambition, you can see the vision so clearly, but when it's actually time to do the work, you freeze. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, you are in exactly the right place. We are going to unpack this whole thing together.
Man, does that hit home? It's this weird, frustrating paralysis, isn't it? The dream is so vivid, you can practically taste it. But that bridge between the dream and, well, reality, it just feels a million miles long. It's like you're standing at the starting line of a race. You can see the finish line, but for some reason, your feet feel like they're glued to the ground.
I'm going to go out on the limb and say it does. And the first thing you need to hear, and I mean really hear, is that you are not the only one feeling this way. Not by a long shot. There is a huge number of us out there full of these incredible ideas, these big ambitions, but somehow we're just stuck in neutral, watching another day just slip right by. And it creates this trap, this cycle that is so easy to fall into. It probably starts the same way for you every single morning, right? You wake up, you think, okay, today is the day. But then you grab your phone, you tell yourself just for a few minutes, and then you look up and somehow it's already lunchtime. After you eat, all that morning energy is just gone. Poof. So you make that familiar bargain with yourself. You know what? I'll just start fresh tomorrow. Tomorrow will be better. And then, of course, you're lying in bed that night, your mind racing, replaying the entire day, just drowning in this wave of guilt, promising that tomorrow, for real this time, tomorrow will be different. It is an absolutely exhausting way to live. Okay, so here is the most important thing I'm going to say. If you are stuck in that cycle, it does not mean you are lazy. It doesn't mean you're broken or that you're a bad person. This is not some fundamental flaw in your character. What you're actually up against is a very, very common psychological pattern, a habit that your brain has learned over time. And you know what the best part about that is? Patterns can be understood, and anything that can be understood can be changed. So if we want to change the pattern, we've got to understand it first. Think of this next part as us being detectives. We're about to pull back the curtain on your own mind and figure out what is really going on when you choose to scroll on your phone instead of working on your dream. See, at the very heart of this whole problem, there is a massive tug of war happening inside your brain. On one side of the rope, you have your ambitious self. This is the part of you that's the visionary, the dreamer. It's the part that sets those huge, exciting, life-changing goals. But on the other side of the rope, you've got your survival brain. Now, its only job, its one and only mission, is to keep you safe. It's not evil, but it sees things like hard work, uncertainty, and especially the risk of failure as actual legitimate threats. So, to protect you, it yanks you toward the path of least resistance, comfort, safety, and easy distractions. And right now, your survival brain is winning that tug of war. We call this being in survival mode. Every single time you think about tackling that big, important project, your brain's alarm bells go off, flashing discomfort, discomfort. And to make that uncomfortable feeling go away, it offers you a super easy out. Hey, why not check social media? Why not watch a video? You get that quick, easy hit of dopamine, the discomfort disappears, and your brain learns a really dangerous lesson. Avoiding the hard stuff feels good. And over time, this just reinforces a powerful, powerful habit of avoidance that slowly but surely steals your future. But here's the thing. Your survival brain isn't working alone. Oh no. It has three very sneaky, very clever partners in crime. These are three hidden traps that work together to keep you stuck in that cycle of doing nothing. So let's put on our detective hats again and unmask these culprits, one by one. So, culprit number one is a master of disguise, perfectionism. You tell yourself things like, I'm just waiting for the perfect moment, or I need to have the perfect plan before I start. But let's be honest, this has nothing to do with high standards. It is a brilliant, brilliant defense mechanism. Your brain is basically telling you that if things aren't absolutely perfect, you can't possibly start. And why does it do that? It's simple. As long as you're planning and researching and waiting, you're perfectly safe from the scary possibility of actually trying and failing. All right, culprit number two is something I call the motivation myth. We've all been sold this idea that we're supposed to wait until we feel motivated to get things done. But motivation, it's just a feeling. It's an emotion. And just like any emotion, it's totally unreliable.
It comes and goes whenever it wants. You cannot build a productive life, let alone a dream, on something as flaky as a feeling. Look, successful people don't have some secret, endless well of motivation. They have systems, they have habits, they have discipline. They show up and do the work, especially on the days they don't feel like it.
And that brings us to the final and honestly the most powerful culprit of them all, the deep, raw fear of failure. Because deep down, there's this little voice that's terrified that if you really truly give it your all and it doesn't work out, that it will confirm your absolute worst fear, that you're not as smart or as talented or as capable as you hope you are. And that idea is terrifying, so it feels so much safer to just live in the fantasy, in the land of what if, where your potential is infinite, precisely because it's never been put to the test. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem, we've identified the culprits. It might sound a little bleak, but the best news is coming right now. There is a way out of this. And it's not about just trying harder or finding more willpower. It's about having a smarter strategy. So this is your escape plan. This is an actionable guide to systematically rewiring your brain for action. Here it is, your 4-step guide. And notice, this is not about some massive overnight life transformation. It's all about making small, strategic shifts. First, we start incredibly small to build momentum. Second, we act without motivation to build real discipline. Third, we design our environment to make the right choices almost automatic. And fourth, we learn to forgive ourselves when we slip up because progress is never, ever a straight line.
Let's really zoom in on that first step. Start incredibly small. Your perfectionist brain wants you to sit down and work for 8 hours straight. Forget that. That's a recipe for overwhelm. What if? What if you just committed to 15 minutes? That's it. Just 15 minutes of focused work on your single most important thing. It is so small, so non-threatening that even your survival brain can't really put up a fight. But here's where the magic is. 15 minutes of actual progress is infinitely more powerful than 8 hours of avoiding and planning. It breaks that inertia. It proves to yourself that you can start.
Okay, next up, we have to stop relying on willpower. Willpower is a finite resource. Instead, let's start designing our environment. This isn't a discipline problem, it's a design problem. Your goal is to make the right choice the easy choice. If your phone is your biggest enemy, don't just put it face down on the desk. That's not enough. Put it in a completely different room. Clean your desk so your mind feels less cluttered. Turn off every single notification on your computer. Set up your space so that doing the work is literally easier than getting distracted. Now this right here is probably the single biggest mindset shift you can make. We're taught to believe that the opposite of success is failure. It's not. The true opposite of success is inaction. It's doing nothing. Think about it. When you do nothing, you stay exactly where you are. You learn absolutely nothing. But when you try something and you fail, you get data. You get feedback. You learn what doesn't work, which is crucial information for figuring out what does. Failure is a teacher. Inaction is a dead end. Okay, I'm going to be really direct with you for a second. Consuming self-help content, like watching this explainer right now, it can feel really productive. But it can also be the sneakiest, most sophisticated form of procrastination there is. You feel like you're making progress, but you're still not actually doing the work. You probably don't need to learn another productivity hack. You don't need more information. You likely already know what you need to do. It's time. It's time to stop learning about the path and to start walking on it. So we've walked through the psychology. We've unmasked the traps. We've laid out the entire escape plan. But all of that is just theory. All of it is just information. The final step is the only one that truly, truly matters, and it's the one that has to be taken by you, and it has to be taken right now. This is the core truth of this whole thing. Let this really sink in for a second. You can have the most incredible ambitions in the world, the most brilliant, game-changing ideas, but if they are never, ever paired with action, they stay as just that, daydreams. Action is the bridge. It's the only thing that turns fantasy into reality. So here it is. Here is my challenge to you. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel motivated, today, as soon as this is over. What is the one tiny 15-minute imperfect action you are going to take to move yourself just one single inch closer to your goal? Not the perfect action, not the whole entire project, just one small step. And I want you to make a commitment, not just to yourself, but to all of us. Right now, I want you to go down to the comments and write down that one small, imperfect action you're going to take today. There's something powerful about making it public. It makes it real. Let's create a community of action takers right here, right now. And hey, if this explainer helped click something into place for you, please do me a favor and give it a like, share it with someone else you know who might be feeling stuck, and of course, make sure you subscribe for more explainers just like this, designed to help you build the life you really want. Okay, your turn. Go take that first step.